Source PNG. This week, big news from Newcrest with the announcement that it would be selling its remaining interests in Hidden Valley to Harmony Gold. This decision was announced to the market earlier this week. On the 19th of September, Newcrest announced that it would be selling its interest in Hidden Valley. In an announcement to the markets, Newcrest said that it had signed an agreement to sell Newcrest PNG 1 Limited to Harmony Gold Company Limited, effectively offloading its interest in the Hidden Valley project. Furthermore, Newcrest has also signed an agreement to sell its 50% interest in tenements close to Hidden Valley to Harmony. The Hidden Valley project is located in Morobe Province, 90 kilometers southwest of Lae, the provincial capital. Up until June 2015, the mine had produced close to 190,000 ounces of gold and 1.7 million ounces of silver. But according to Newcrest Managing Director and CEO Sandeep Biswas, this decision to sell its interests in Hidden Valley was done following the completion of a strategic review of the project. The company determined that the best outcome was to exit the operation and focus their attention on safe, profitable growth at their other assets. Among their other interests referred to is the Wafi Golpu project. The sale of Newcrest's interest in Hidden Valley does not, however, affect its other operations, with the company reaffirming its commitment to developing the Wafi Golpu project together with Harmony, with both companies having a 50% interest in that particular project. But from the sale of Hidden Valley to Harmony, there are 5 key points to remember. Following completion, Harmony will become 100% owner of the Hidden Valley joint venture, including the Hidden Valley mine. Following the completion, Harmony will assume all liabilities and expenses related to the Hidden Valley joint venture and mine, including all closure, rehabilitation and remediation obligations with effect from the 31st of August 2016. At the 30th of June 2016, Newcrest had provisioned $35 million on mine rehabilitation obligations, which will now be reversed. Newcrest expects to recognize a loss on sale of approximately $10 million. And Newcrest and Harmony will remain 50-50 joint venture partners in the Wafi Golpu project. As part of the sale transaction, Newcrest has funded Newcrest PNG 1 Limited with an amount of $22.5 million, which according to the company represents Newcrest's one-off contribution towards future Hidden Valley closure liability, partially offset by the option value of the possible cash flows of the assets. You're watching Resource PNG. We will be back with more after these messages. Welcome back to Resource PNG. Recent months have proven to be quite busy for Oil Search Limited. Recently, the company announced significant changes to its board, signaling a new direction for its operations in Papua New Guinea. Here is a look at what has transpired so far. It has been a busy period for Oil Search in recent times. Earlier this year, the oil and gas company made a play to acquire Interoil. However, this deal fell through due to a rival offer from supergiant ExxonMobil. Despite low world oil and gas prices, Oil Search has continued to remain as a profitable company, recording positive results.
Overall, the total production for the first half was 14.9 million barrels of oil equivalent, which is the second highest in our corporate history. We managed to produce on average 7.7 million tonnes of LNG from PNG LNG. We had production rates well above 8 million tonnes, but as an average of 7.7, again a very strong operating performance from that set of assets.
These results have been on the back of the leadership that the company has had, particularly from its board. This looks set to continue, with the board recently announcing a few changes to its membership. Effective as of September the 30th, Bart Philemon will resign from his position as board member. His position on the board will be filled by Mel Togolo. According to Oil Search Board Chairman Rick Lee, Oil Search acknowledges the valuable contribution Mr. Philemon had provided to the board of Oil Search since his appointment as a director in November 2012. Bart's vast experience in Papua New Guinea and his passion towards contributing to better outcomes for the people of PNG were greatly appreciated by the board. Mel Togolo, currently Nautilus Mineral PNG's country manager, has been appointed to fill the vacancy created by Mr. Philemon's retirement. Oil Search is fortunate to be able to call on the talents and experience of Mel as a very able replacement for Bart. Mel brings a wealth of knowledge on PNG from a distinguished career, spanning senior roles in the industry and government, not only in Papua New Guinea, but also in Australia and the Solomon Islands. In addition, fellow director Dr. Ziggy Switkowski has also notified the board of his intention to retire as a director at the end of this year. Fiona Harris has been nominated as his replacement on the board of the company. The changes to Oil Search also include a change to the board committee level, with the company appointing several Papua New Guineans as independent members. They are Richard Kuna, Mary Johns and Serena Sumano. Although not full members of the board, these appointees will contribute to ensuring that the functions of the board committees are effective. According to Chairman Rick Lee, the Oil Search Board is delighted to not only introduce this initiative, but also to have identified and secured such high-quality candidates to join the committee in this capacity. Richard, Mary and Serena have already had outstanding careers to date in PNG, and hopefully the opportunity to work with the Oil Search Board at the committee level will only add to their capabilities and knowledge as they contribute to Papua New Guinea in the future. Don't go anywhere, we will be back with more of Resource PNG after these messages. Welcome back. Time now to take a look at what's been making headlines in the resource sector.
Hydropower at present makes up 40% of Papua New Guinea's installed power capacity due to the optimal conditions and terrains for hydropower plants. The second major power source to be developed in the country was geothermal energy, initially exploited to power the Lihir gold mine in New Island province. Geothermal energy is the heat from the Earth's core and, simply put, is clean and sustainable.
So geothermal energy has many forms, but the form that we are here discussing is the easiest form, and that's the geothermal heat that's linked to volcanoes and volcanic heat. So what you need is a ground source of heat. So this is where under a volcano you have like a magma supply. A magma is where you have liquid rock close to the surface. This is at a temperature of 1,000 degrees centigrade or something like that. It heats water in the upper parts of the crust. That water circulates and it also produces steam. So the geothermal energy will tap that hot water and that steam, which then drives turbines, which then can generate electricity.
The volcanic belts around the country are home to significant amounts of active volcanic activity, including 55 known geothermal sites. According to the Geothermal Energy Association, PNG's geothermal potential is estimated to be at 21.9 terawatt hours, which is enough to meet all our electricity needs well into the future.
That's in theory, yeah? In practice, probably only part of that could be realized, actualized. But even if it's half or a quarter or even a tenth of that, it's a very significant contribution to the power base. And although the upfront costs of geothermal are quite high, the running costs once the plant is up and running are quite low. So over time, you really get your money back. And in theory, it can last forever. You know, volcanoes last at least 1 million years, which is a long time for people in a human time scale. So if we look after the heat and we look after the resource, then the plants can go for decades and hundreds of years in theory.
Tavoro Kovai started selling calla lilies a couple of years ago to raise funds for and held a retreat to be held in the province. Today, EMTV caught up with her at the 60th Goroka show while she was displaying her new products to the market. Calla lilies has a unique color with very large flower heads and tall dark stems. These flowers are imported from overseas. It cost her about 14,000 kina.
Trying to make some money, but I think I've sold the first lot to the Madam Governor of Eastern Highlands Province.
She is the first woman in the country to sell these flowers. Kovai says calla lilies are new in PNG and there are no buyers. However, she has made progress and is hoping to venture more into the business.
Fisheries subsidies estimated at $40 billion annually contribute to overfishing, overcapacity, and illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing in both domestic and international waters. He acknowledged that just as the ocean generated trillions for the world economy, it was a source of income for millions and fed billions more. Minister Pato said the conservation and sustainable management of fisheries posed an urgent challenge for the international community and Pacific Island nations, including PNG. The initiative is expected to result in significant trade, economic, development and environmental benefits and align with 2020 SDG plans to prohibit fisheries subsidies which contribute to overfishing and overcapacity. Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, Norway, Peru, Switzerland and Uruguay would be working closely to prepare for negotiations and lobby with the WTO membership to reach an agreement. The US declared that as one of its measures towards ocean protection and conservation, it was also backing the initiative.
Raba Raba Vocational College is one of the few technical skills training institutions in Milne Bay Province. It's located within Raba Raba Station, so isolated and rural-based. Just recently, the school opened 2 new houses for its staff.
May God bless those teachers and may God guide them to impart that knowledge as best they can to our students. Hip hip! Hooray!
Speaking after the house opening, college principal Stephen Sampson said there has been support but at a slower pace. He says this technical skill institution must be supported through infrastructures so it provides opportunities to school leavers.
It's in our plan that we are trying to build up a tourism building where we can able to accommodate guests as part of our students training here.
The institution currently introduced new skilled courses and Principal Sampson says students are helping build the school with 2 teachers' houses, the first project.
That's part of what we are talking about, quality training. So this is some of the integrities where teachers are well accommodated and we have a good number of teachers so that they can able to teach our students.
Speaking on a national level, Alato MP and National Planning and Monitoring Minister Charles Abel says a huge gap remains in supporting and maintaining PNG's health and education institution.
And it's a big distance we still have to go to that. So that's why the Planning Act and the Service Delivery Framework saying that we need a minimum of 1 elementary per council ward.
The 2 new houses will be occupied next week.
At around 9 a.m. yesterday, when Professor John Warren and his wife Dr. Catherine arrived at the University of Natural Resources and Environment campus, the people celebrated. They were given a traditional welcome by students and staff and their families. The small but significant ceremony has brought peace to many of those who have been part of the fight, calling for a change in the administration of the university. In front of the student body and a few hundreds of people who came from the nearby communities, Dr. Samson Laup, who has been acting on the Vice-Chancellor's post since March 2015, formally handed over the reign to Professor Warren. As the congratulatory applause died out, the new head of the university told those who gathered that changes at the university won't happen overnight.
Unfortunately, I don't have a magic wand. And your Prime Minister was very welcoming, but he didn't give me a pot of gold, right? So I need to speak to everybody. We need to have this dialogue, and so we can work out how we prioritise all those questions, all those problems. How do we work out where to spend the small amount of money that we've already got on which problems first?
Professor Warren, a botanist, and his wife, Dr. Catherine, a chemist, will make up a team of scientists behind the operation of this leading agriculture university in the country.
If there are issues to be discussed, we'll let him run the university, but please talk to me and talk to the other provisions so that we don't disturb anything within the 3 years.
UNRE has been a hive of dissatisfied students and staff who on numerous occasions have staged peaceful protests on the campus and stayed away from classes for almost a month, fueled by maladministration of the university. These actions have prompted the NEC to appoint a permanent Vice-Chancellor, and the arrival of Professor Warren is expected to put an end to these dissatisfactions and rebuild the repute of UNRE as one of the leaders in tropical agriculture in the Pacific.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Resource PNG. As always, if you'd like to get in touch with us regarding anything on our program or have story ideas for future episodes, email us on the address now showing on your screen. For all the latest updates on developments within the resource sector in the country, check out our Facebook page. To view this program online, log on to the EMTV website where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. Until the next time, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.